Greetings and salutations. Thank you for lending an ear to the voice of the times this Sunday, October 10, 2021. For today's editorial, Senate probe could harm public interests. Before presenting our main points, we start with the premise that the incumbent government should not prevent officials of the executive department from appearing before Congress when summoned. The Supreme Court has ruled on executive privilege, and the other branches of government should respect that institution. Even if some senators are abusing their authority or simply diverting executive time from priorities like the pandemic, two wrongs do not make a right, as they say. That said, the conduct of the Senate Blue Ribbon investigation into the alleged overpricing of personal protective equipment may end up harming public interests, as well as personal ambitions. In other words, it could backfire on some senators, and possibly impede the successful prosecution of a case filed in court. First, some senators, particularly those who champion human rights and fight authoritarianism, expose their hypocrisy when they move to detain resource persons for giving testimonies that they either disliked or did not believe. We saw this from Senator Ana Teresa Rizon-Tiveros, whose party Akbayan has been vocal against the abuses committed during the Marcos era. She showed no compunction in detaining witnesses for merely being evasive or avoiding self-incrimination, a protection guaranteed under the Bill of Rights in the 1987 Constitution. Another senator, Francis Kiko Pangilinan, even went so far as to suggest that a witness be transferred to the Pasay City Jail from detention at the Senate. The senators ignore that the Senate's objective is to conduct hearings in aid of legislation, not to prosecute alleged crimes. Mr. Pangilinan knows this, as he himself is a lawyer. Of course, there were others who agreed to detain witnesses, including Senator Panfilo Ping Lacson. He should also know better, given his long service in the Philippine National Police, or PNP, where he was formerly its chief. Then again, the PNP is often the target of criticism by human rights advocates. Incidentally, these lawmakers are running in the 2022 elections, Ms. Ontiveros for a second term in the Senate, Mr. Pangilinan as Vice President of the Philippines, and Mr. Lacson as President of the country. During the campaign, voters should scrutinize the three senators' stand on human rights. Their conduct in the Blue Ribbon probe gives away their preclusion to ditch those constitutional rights that they supposedly fight for when such rights become inconvenient in a political process. Criminal prosecution. Second, the Senate Blue Ribbon panel should file a case in court if it has evidence of a crime. Prosecuting the case is the job of the judiciary, not the senators, particularly not those running in the next polls against candidates of the Duterte administration. While the Senate's task is to come up with legislation that plugs policy gaps, there is an expectation that it will also turn over any evidence of graft to the courts so that alleged criminals may be charged and tried. Theoretically, information uncovered during Senate hearings could help prosecutors, saving them and the courts from conducting their own examination of the evidence and sworn testimonies provided to the legislators. On that expectation, the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee disappoints. Any testimony it might hand over to the judiciary could instead be dismissed because this was made under duress. Such statements, particularly confessions made under the threat of detention, are likely to be inadmissible in court. This argument might even be used as a defense against perjury, perhaps by witnesses who gave certain statements to the Senate that were retracted in another hearing in the House of Representatives. In short, the senators themselves sabotaged their cause by ignoring basic legal principles. This is regrettable, especially since the Blue Ribbon chairman, Senator Richard Gordon, is also a lawyer, not to mention a re-electionist. Setting aside legal arguments, might the senators named here benefit in the court of public opinion ahead of the next elections? Perhaps, but they will likely turn off voters who think independently and dislike hypocrites. The senators might also disappoint those who actually want the perpetrators of graft to face justice. As such, the Blue Ribbon hearings may have unintended consequences, not only for prosecutors of a case that might be filed later, but also for those portraying themselves as candidates who uphold basic rights provided by law. And that's editorial for Sunday, October 10, 2021. For more news and information, get a copy of the Manila Times on print, subscribe to our digital edition, or log on to www.manilatimes.net. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and listen to The Voice of the Times.